with the live stream.
Few
Have to
opportunities.
start again?
Yeah, so it's been some wonderful opportunities we've been presented with this morning, and we have Kitty's was really very interesting and enlightening in terms of some of the things that she shared, and I hope that our listeners understood what was happening. Thank you for staying with us through the hour that we were. You never heard any laughter and chatter. We're having some technical difficulties here at the Ligani Club, but we're going on. We're going
Well,
on.
we better make it clear that the difficulties have nothing to do with the club. It's just that it seems that when we do our outdoor broadcast,
It's a new day every day.
the technology disappoints in one way or another. Um, all right, so Black History Month is upon us. We plan to do our part in celebrating our race. Many of the callers that we get are very sensitive about the history, and even this morning, one or two persons are online taking our guests to task about whether Adam was a real person or who's the
Africa,
other one? Oh,
Africa.
and Moses,
Yeah,
and if
Africa.
Moses was a real person, which led to Percival and myself having an in-depth conversation about the extent to which these issues affect who we are and what we believe. I can remember the days when I did not know nearly enough about certain things as I do now, but I had faith and I had belief, and I could feel the strength in my own
Heart.
identity and heart, and the determination that I have to accomplish certain things. So I know that there is within each of us enough knowledge, enough strength, enough awareness of power, of identity to guide us into accomplishing great things, even when our knowledge of history might
Yeah.
be less than ideal.
Because the reality is,
Yeah.
seeing that a significant portion of the world's population is not educated in the way that we think they should be educated in terms of learning to read and write. But guess what? What I've discovered, even in the scripture, says the heavens declare the glory of God and things. And somehow, because we have spirit, God connects with us
And
and
we-
leads us to the path to knowing Him even better.
And do you know, I was saying to you that this injunction to knock and it's open, seek and you find, ask and it is answered, I have found that the true seekers of knowledge and of understanding of the world find their answers, because there is a purity of heart that you must maintain when you are seeking that will give you the results that you deserve. Earlier, I spoke about Julian Mayer using his opportunity at the mic to emphasize the connection between criminality and economic performance, and making the point that these 20 communities that are producing 70% of the crime, that some strategic and direct intervention needs to take place at the behest of the owners of capital. And, Percival and I were talking about the heart position. When you make those investments, can you do it as a matter of convenience, or just, in a calculated way
Or
to
enlightened
get a particular,
self-interest.
out of enlightened self-interest,
Because
and get the right results? Does that give you the right results? And my position on it is that it will not give you the right results, because we've seen a lot of money spent, on education,
Yeah.
on social intervention. And people are talking about it and saying, given the number of dollars that have gone in those directions, why aren't we seeing the desired results? Well, we're not seeing the desired results because when you go about things with the wrong heart, you are going to get a perverted fruit, a contaminated result. I saw one person was writing on it and pointing out that even though the dollars are earmarked, again, because my words, because it has not gone with the right spirit, it ended up feeding the facilitators and the
It
people
is.
who need to get it don't actually get
And that happens
don't
all the
actually get
time,
it, and
all
so
the
that
time.
happens all the time.
Speak
Corruption intervenes,
Yeah.
and the thing don't go the right way. But the dollars were earmarked and the projects were approved. And you told me of one incident too. You were talking about a program for animation,
Yeah.
which
It just
yeah.
yeah. But because we get sidetracked in terms of the things we want to do, and we are not doing the things that we set out to do, and all different things
Can we open
come
the phones?
in to corrupt it. So I don't know why Galatians 6:7 just jumped out at me yesterday. Can't be
Be not deceived.
be not deceived. Be not deceived. The greatest deception is self-deception.
Well, that's the one that works.
Yeah, that works best. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was saying to you that a man saying something to me that challenges my faith or my position on something only has meaning if I take it on.
True.
So, similarly, it is when I deceive myself on a point that it will work. The deception will work because I've consumed it, I've allowed it to change my position or influence my position one way or another. But many people speak into my life and around me and
Different kind of thing.
saying every kind of thing, some good, some bad. Only the ones that I allow into my space will have any impact.
Yeah, but so what we see happening in our society at the present time, somebody reap the whirlwind. You have seen.
Oh yes, about
So if you want to reap the whirlwind, you sow to the. I can't remember the first part, but it ended up reaping the whirlwind, and we have to be careful.
Let me see.
tell you something.
I think we have a caller on the line. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Ah, good morning, sir. How are you? Good-
Hello. Numbers to call 876 361
What is happening, man?
876 279 8470. Good morning, caller. How are you today? Good morning, caller. How are you today?
Hello.
Good
Okay.
morning, caller. We're hearing hello. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm
Ah, good.
I'm doing great,
Okay. What's up?
Yeah, man. You see, sometime I want to listen to these people on the radio, It's like because I hear them say they want to kill the PNP, but them can't kill the PNP because the PNP is all away.
I like that.
Yeah, man. We the people is the opposition at all times,
Oh, I like that. That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, man, and you see where them are trying to do now, it's like even hear them at Sir Campbell, I say, the man of the ruler for the black black part of the JLP. And it's coming like that, take over everything. Them forgot about the murder and the gun and all of them things. And just make that take over everything. Like that has something we have to from long time. White man control black and black man control black and all of them things. So black and white thing not supposed to, issue. The murdering and the gun where them are bringing in and how it are coming in and them things with what to talk about.
True.
You know what I mean?
I
So
love,
them are youth,
I love your perspective on it.
you know what I mean? And watch it now. You see right now, people them the man them where you not see no police man, And we at night me see light a flash. So them flash light skylight can flash far. So the man them we see when they come and run guy run crown and then now come on come look to nobody, They not about
Yeah.
so
So it can't be just in light. You really have to go to in the nooks and crannies out of
what you mean, man, that not about And what is now? They must say, like, this is the thing when what they want to do, they want to say, this is PNP control the crime and that them thing. But it can't go so. The commission and so me hear them attack. It's a joke. Come here like the man say, them have control the area. And then now they make the man they run the area control it.
That's the argument that you're putting forward that you're going to. Oh, interesting. So you're not in favor of that. You must equip the police and allow them to do their work. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, the police to do their work.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say well then what you them say. They more bring in this water and clear up the area, and then now they make the man them control the community. Oh, that about no police to do that thing there.
Yes.
Hmm?
Yeah. But I'm glad you're not distracted by it. I don't think many citizens are going to be distracted by that kind of double talk.
Yeah.
No, man. Then thing a long time if you appear that I go on and we can't take it. We can't take it. That's why me hear a man I say, we don't have to have a name. We can't just say we vote 56, somebody never vote and so and so and so. We have to have a name to go under and we have to know say, them say, this PLP and the PNP are one. The whole of we people are one. But who deal with right and who deal with right and who deal with wrong. We see some people they not deal with wrong, no time. And that PNP not deal with wrong. Wrong people wrong, yes. But we not love it up. We not love up no wrong. We get right and we try our best to get to keep out the wrong. But them man love up the wrong and I live off of the wrong and I go on like you know say all the number now, even this number, the COVID number. A man which from the beginning you say me and a man say them have a youth number, carry it up and carry it down and carry it round when they're ready. And at that I go on and then set the thing away where why the mother say why them people like carry it up, I tell them to this entertainment industry don't join with them because them out there I wanna carry out the number.
You know, there's a letter in today's paper from former Prime Minister Bruce Golding in which he asks a question. He says he mentioned that President Barack Obama wept on the occasion of a speech he made about the shooting of some school children, and nobody laughed. People applauded it and thought he was showing great sensitivity and sympathy for his people. Why is it that people did not give Andrew Holness the same response? And everything you're saying now is giving me an answer to that question, how you think what you're saying. People don't have that trust and that confidence that what they see, the numbers they're seeing, the information they're being given, that it is honest and information. Even if it is true, most people don't see it that way anymore.
No. And you see the thing is now, and money me see them take over, because them say, boy, who got no more money and like, just money and indiscipline.
Yes, because we're no longer feeling that what we hear is true, what we're being told is in our best interest. And when that starts happening, it's like a relationship between two people. When that trust disappears, then people need to
but the Prime Minister said it so. The Prime Minister said it so because one time when he with the election, he said only seeing people get first priority. And like there is a people and he say same as set it and same as doing it. So they want everybody from inside.
Okay.
So I buy them in and I get them in all in can. Hurt them in.
I did not recall him saying. I didn't recall him saying something like that. I didn't recall him saying something like that, but that is.
No, but listen, that means say people don't hear everything when say.
Yes.
People don't hear everything when say, and what people charge with that, and say, oh, are we awake? And right now, let me say to one of the councillors then. So me hear the Prime Minister say,
all right.
People don't get.
Yeah, all right, my brother. Thank you for sharing with us on this point.
Hear the last part,
Yes, what's the last
part? You hear the last part right, and the council start going some way for me like you want to the man them for me and really.
Really?
So me have to just pull it down and say, you know here right, you know here, when me here. So that me see you know, you know here, but you know how me see you work, as for you work, it's only your people them get priority.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right, my brother.
you know,
Let
I
us
bless.
let us move towards better days. Greater equality.
Yeah,
That's
but,
what he
but
said.
we have to have a label. We have to have a label. At the PNP, we have to move on that.
Yes.
Right.
So are we at PNP are we
Interesting.
right? That is right.
All right,
Truth
my
and
brother.
right.
Thank you very much.
Good. Again, numbers to call in. We're live.
Okay.
876-361-6583 and then 876-279-8473. And so the lines are now open for you to call us. We do apologize for that long break. We're having some technical difficulties.
Oh, and just a reminder that that second number, the 279-8473 number, is the WhatsApp phone, so you can call us on WhatsApp. Are we gonna make a call to those two persons who we were scheduled to speak with, Mr. Producer? Should we try?
You know,
Okay,
Right,
all
so-
right. Let's take the call as best we can.
but you know, as we waiting for the calls to come, as we think about what we're gonna be doing in Black History Month under two themes, truth and traditions, and Up You Mighty Race, which is taken from Marcus Garvey, and then Kittis, truth and traditions, educating us about the rich heritage and the things that we have from Africa, because there was life for us as Negroes, as Africans, before there was slavery. And I used to grow up thinking in a minute that this Timbuktu, when somebody says, yes, a fool, go back to Timbuktu. I never made a connection until my later years that Timbuktu was the first recorded in
University.
in the world.
Yes, but so they were just sending you back to school, you
To
know.
say, say come back.
Go back
Yeah,
to
it's a fool. Go back at Timbuktu. And I
Yeah.
saw it in a derogatory way, but
Yeah, Timbuktu is the word we reserve for places that are far and unspeakably dark
yes,
and
but
primitive.
it is not true.
But
And it's
it
your
is-
language
it
is
not
important,
true. It's not
and the
true.
things that you speak.
But
are-
could we just excite in persons of African heritage a curiosity
Mhm.
about who we were before enslavement? What we do in the month will just be a mere
Whetting of
drop in the
appetites.
bucket, right? We're just whetting the appetite for truth.
For discovery,
Um,
especially for our young people.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it would be wonderful if persons of African descent could feel genuinely curious about who we were before we were brought here. Jamaica is beautiful, you know, and I'm not ashamed to tell people that when I went to Nigeria and saw the millions of black people who look like me and felt the stirring in the soul and know say, that's where I come from, I still looked at some of the hardships and say, you know what, I prefer Jamaica. I
Okay.
am not embarrassed to say it. I said I am comfortable in my circumstance of being a Jamaican citizen. But that's not all that I am, because in Jamaica, my history began with slavery. That is what I learned of that. My forebears were slaves. But if I can take things a little farther back and recognize who my people are, let's put it that way. Ketis made an important point. When we were kings is like the name of a movie. It's a movie
Yeah,
or
man.
a song or a book or something. Very literary in its construct and sounding. So I said when we were kings, but the truth of it,
That's a
I know
sufferer
that
of a
that
song
DNA
like that.
don't change.
Yeah, it doesn't change.
It don't change. That's who you are today. This place, yes, gotta hunt down my crown and,
But you
and
still have it though.
polish it up a bit, but it's still mine. Can we just step back farther in time and associate ourselves with the strength, the beauty, the grandeur, the power of that heritage? Be curious about it and start to search on your own to see, you know, who we were. So
What
that
are the things
today,
you can link
when we
into?
say, up you mighty race, we know that we truly are a mighty race.
But you
And
have
it's
to come
not to
back
say
up.
that other races are not mighty, you know,
No,
because
but we're
all
coming
races
back
have
up.
their own special mission and place and purpose. the discover. Let's do, that process of self-discovery, and not limit it to the month of February.
Yeah, it has to be a 24/7, 365 days
Yeah.
event for us.
Yeah.
And
What I kind of like about it is once you educate yourself and you know more, that knowledge changes you. You will not be the same after you learn it, and the change that takes place should be one that propels you forward. When I was a much younger and way more volatile person, and they would just all in the month of February, all these old movies that brought up back those horrible
yes,
memories.
man, Roots and
Oh
the
my
movie there.
God.
Oh, jeez.
I would say no, 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 no.
Woo!
I would say
Woo! We would say.
I would say absolutely not. If I consume more of this, I'm gonna shoot somebody.
that's how you.
Um,
That's how
yeah,
you were.
man.
That's how you were hot-headed.
I was.
I
Yes,
don't
yes,
see you
yes.
as a hot-headed person. so that was in your past. You leave that
That's-
behind
I
you.
left that behind. I leave that behind.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, when you see your people being denigrated, and when you see the representation of it, it's like when you watch The Passion of the Christ. Who can watch The Passion of the Christ and not weep? Which Christian? Or whether you're not Christian?
I said,
Just
wow.
to see the depiction of so much pain and humiliation and torture against one person who hadn't done anything, it stirs up the emotion. So there was a time when I avoided th- just feeding too much from that
From
fount.
that tree. that tree there.
Yes, because you can't unknow it. I mean, of course, we have to appreciate the differences between the races. We have to forgive the atrocities, and we have to find a new way forward as a team, because the human race is
That
one family.
is one family, one
and
team.
Jamaica has been bold enough to include in her anthem the words that we are part of advancing. We play a part in
pledge.
advancing the
Whole
whole
human
human
race.
race.
So
Not just
prophetic.
the African race, but the whole human race. And the out of many one motto that we have is, as you say, so prophetic, because we need to find oneness in the Asian part of us, whether it is, Asian,
Or Jewish or
Chinese,
whatever.
Sino-Asian,
whatever it is.
or Indian Asian, and the whether you talk about the Jewish part of us, and that now is more on the spiritual side than even on the ethnic side. We've got to find a place for us. And when you look at the different prime ministers that Jamaica has had, or leaders in high places, you have seen represented every ethnic mix
in this country.
in this country, has walked in the halls of parliament, served in high places. You can't say that there is any one group that has been excluded. So Jamaica is actually a great example of how the different races
We'll work it
can-
out as we
can
come
work
to the end
together.
of the time and the age. People without the knowledge of their past history, origin and culture is like a tree without roots. And I
Marcus
remember
Garvey again.
Marcus Garvey. I remember Kitty sharing the thing when she was up in Stony Hill, and they're cutting down the tree, and they were saying, "How are we gonna deal with the roots?
Well, the man
roots,
say burn it five
but
times.
burn 5 times, and it
And
still
it's
was
still-
there
still
because
in
roots
person.
run deep. Roots run deep, and
And the
ro-
older the tree,
yeah, the deeper the roots,
deeper
and
the
the
roots.
roots are like our
Yeah.
spiritual heritage,
Yeah.
things that are in the spirit
True.
that we can only hold on to and make mention of it, the connection.
so the
connection.
African race as first people of the
The world.
of the world.
Yeah, they said
Deepest
civilization.
roots.
Yeah,
The
Africa.
cradle of life is Africa.
Yeah. You ever found it funny as we talk that a black woman can have a Chinese, a white, an Indian child?
Yes.
Nobody else can do it, and I'm saying,
a
how-
friend of mine said it, because she has two girls.
yes,
One is she married to the same man,
Mm.
and these children are for the same father.
yes,
But she's more African, and her husband is more European. One girl is pretty much white, and the other girl is black. The hair different, or one daughter hair straight, the other daughter have curly afro, like,
You have
and
kinky ear.
she was going through immigration somewhere, and somebody was taking step with her and these two girls, because the other girls here was so thick and African that she had cut it into an afro. Because so it's two little girls, one with her straight European looking hair and one with an afro, and they were asking some question of her, that sort of question, the paternity or this family structure. And she said, let me tell you something, a black woman is the only woman whose womb can. And I learned it. We can deliver anyone. Oh, ah, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Morning Connection, Brother Jeremiah.
Yes, thank you for having me.
How is it going where you are?
Man, it's going really good, man. The sun is shining and the day is beautiful, so I'm grateful.
Well, I tell you, here in Kingston, where we are, it's a little cooler and it's beginning to look a little overcast, but equally beautiful. Well, thank you very much for taking time to speak with me this morning. I sent you the two questions that I'm curious about. I did,
Yeah,
before uh, calling you earlier in the show, I did tell my listeners that I'd be speaking to a young pastor who
mm,
is a former policeman from the Jamaica,
yeah,
and now serving in ministry in the United States. Is that a good
yeah.
summary of your antecedents?
Yes, perfect. That's perfect. And because God has been good to me, and I'm very grateful for what the Lord has done. So yes, that's a very welcoming whatever
You
for
you
me. Okay.
yeah, you left Jamaica. You left Jamaica having recuperated from a fairly serious injury that um you suffered in the line of duty. You want to talk a little bit about that, because I want you to describe the transition from being on the front lines in a very volatile, crime-ridden Jamaica to being on the front line in the spiritual world, where it's not a lot different, is it?
No. And yes, I was there 11 years ago. I was in the force. I was a detective. So I served about 4 years as a detective in East Kingston. And in 2010, that's when I got shot. I was on duty doing my job. And unfortunately, two guys walking in the street with a gun about 12 o'clock at night, and they opened fire on us. And unfortunately, I'm the one that got shot. But that was really eye opening for me, because that drew me closer to the Lord. And migrated to the States in 2011, and I found the Lord, and the rest is history. And here I am on the front line for the Lord.
Okay.
How different is it?
It's different because I was angry at God.
What?
I was angry because I never know and understand, what God was trying to show me. And I remember before I got shot, I used to take the transportation, the bus every now and again. And every time I was on the bus, I always used to run into, pastor preaching on the bus. I'm like, okay, why, when you don't understand certain things, you always question things. And I used to say, why this pastor always got a bus that a pastor is preaching on? But God was warning me through his servants and telling me that, okay, listen, there's a call on your life and you need to get it right. When I got saved and I started to look at my life and what transpired, God was showing me that, okay, listen, sometimes when you can't hear, God gotta touch your flesh. And that's exactly what happened to me. God had to touch my flesh in order for me to wake up.
Does that
And that's when I see that, okay, you go ahead.
does that path of suffering, the affliction, so to speak, has it given you any kind of unique perspective on how you minister to people today?
Yes, yes, because when you begin to look at the book of Job and God offered of Job. Job didn't do anything wrong, but God wanted to manifest His presence and begin to show, even the adversary that listen, I got a servant that is perfect. I got a servant that okay, I know what I put inside of him. I know the power, I know the integrity and all the characteristics that I put inside of him. So when I look at my life, I say, okay, God have kept me for such a time as this. And when I begin to preach and God begin to use me, I begin to see that okay, things that happen in our life, propel us and for this time that God, we're not going to understand everything, but we got to trust His hand. We got to trust the hand of God. And I see that okay, God was on my side.
Let me shift you a little bit, because right now we are very concerned about the young men and women who are what the police are now calling violence producers. And the way you said you were angry at God, I know there's a lot of anger that our young people are feeling, and
Yes.
you have just sort of likened, you've called on Job to say that that suffering that many of us go through, if we persevere, God will manifest. Um,
Yes.
are you how are you seeing some path to or recapturing the attention of these young people? Some have written them off. Some say it gone too far, give up on this generation. But there seemed to be a path that we can recapture some of these lost, angry, confused young people.
Right. Right. And in the scriptures it talks about that the people perish because of lack of knowledge. And oftentimes in Jamaica we hear them say what we don't know don't hurt us, and that's a lie. What you don't know will hurt you, because what you don't know, is hindering you from moving forward. Right.
I love
So
that.
when you begin to be knowledgeable, and I heard you all talking about the law, and not because you don't know the law that mean the law is not there.
Yes.
If a police officer stop you on the street and you break the law, you're doing something that's not right, and you don't know that's not right, is no excuse for saying, okay, I never know. The law is there for you to go find it out, right? Sin is not imputed where there is no law. So once the law is there, then you will be held accountable for what you do,
And it's
right?
our
So
responsibility.
yes, our young people, to my knowledge, are perishing because they don't know. And when I begin to educate myself and I begin to be a student of the Word of God, I find out that a lot of things that I was taught was wrong, because you cannot take the worldly principle and bring it into God, because the wisdom of the world is not the wisdom of God. God's wisdom is different from the world, right?
Or is it?
So what the world teaches us, God's ways are different. Okay, so the reason why young men are perishing is because they refuse to get themselves educated and refuse to know certain things. The more knowledgeable you are, is the more better it's gonna be for you.
And so
And
those who are calling for righteousness and justice, they really are not
mhm,
calling for the righteousness and justice of man. They're calling on
right,
something higher. I take your point. I take your point on that. The kind of knowledge we ought to be seeking to draw on that
yes,
righteousness and justice.
It's about
It yeah.
right,
knowledge in regards to relating to each other, relating to how important we see the other person, and that knowledge is knowledge that you get, but you have to seek after it. Is that correct?
yes, yes, yes. And the more hungry you are for knowledge, is the more better it's gonna be. Because if you hunger and thirst after righteousness, then you shall be filled.
Okay.
And
Beatitudes.
point yeah. When you say, "Oh, do we see the body of Christ being unified at this time?" and what is the black man's role in achieving unity? All right. We are so disunified right now in this time and age because it's like a dog eat dog world. Every man for themselves and God for us all. But we need to change that mindset and that mentality in regards for us to achieve. And we got to be unified because how can two walk together unless
Unless
they
they
agree?
agree.
Right? Two is better than one all day. Right? And when I talk, I'm very passionate about talking about unity because even in the body of Christ, churches are supposed to come together, but they're fighting against each other. Right? They're fighting. You got power struggle. But guess what? We're serving the same God. We go in the same place, but guess what? You can't stand your brother right now. Because guess what? You're looking actually at yourself. When you look at your brother, you're looking at your flesh. You're looking at you, and you can't stand you, right? So we gotta be unified, and we gotta love each other. We cannot do this thing without love,
Okay.
because
True.
God is love, and love conquers all.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And the point you make about seeing yourself in your brother, it,
Yeah,
and not being able to stand oneself. When we look at crime and violence,
Self-hate.
it is
hmm
self-hate because you are actually turning on
yeah,
yourself. It's one
yeah,
society, it's one
yeah,
family, and so even we talk about love being at the heart of things. My brother, thank you. I know that you're winding down your time in Jamaica. I hope
yes, yes,
I hope that you get sunshine
yeah.
right up to the last minute.
Right,
Um,
right. Uh,
I wanted to ask a little bit about the role of family and black women because
right.
as we go into Black History Month, um, some of those are some of the thoughts that are
Yeah.
percolating. If you have something you can say on that subject, I'd love to
Right. And let
hear
me
it.
say one more thing. Let me say one more thing with the unity in the black man, right?
Yes.
I always go back to the Tower of Babel, right?
Mm.
The Tower of Babel, when men begin to multiply, they say, okay, come on, let us build, and we're gonna build, go up to heaven, right? And they came together, right? They came together and they said, we're gonna build, right? And the word says the Lord looked down from heaven and saw that men came together, and in everything that they imagine in their heart to do, nobody can stop them,
They can
right? But
accomplish
the
it.
but the pro- right, but the problem was you can come together and you come together for the wrong purpose. And that's why God had to confound their speech because they were coming together, but they were building towards heaven. It wasn't time yet, right?
Yes.
So we got to be careful when we're coming together. You can come together for the wrong reason, but we got to come together as a society and be unified for a right reason, right? Because guess what? There's strength in numbers,
True. Mm-hmm.
right? There's strength in numbers, and in spite of, okay, the government is in charge, but the people got power. And if we come together and say, okay, we're gonna stop certain things, it can be
It is
done,
done.
because once we come together, that's where the unity is, and that's where the adversary fights the people. Because guess what? You don't want us to be speaking the same language, right? Once we're speaking the same language, we're agreeing on the same thing, nobody can stop us. Come on.
Yes.
Nobody, okay? So I just wanted to point that
Yeah,
out,
man,
sis.
that's an excellent point that you make there. Thank you for that. We are
Yeah.
trying to be a part of the voice that mobilized Jamaicans into that oneness. And
Yeah.
yeah, before you came on, we were commenting that Jamaica's anthem says that we are going to do our part in advancing the whole human race. So we, even on this little island, see ourselves as having the potential to influence the direction of humanity. Thanks very much, Brother Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
All
thank
right.
you for having me.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting in terms of his part. We spoke about seeking. If you seek with all of your heart, you will find. And you sought, And his phone.
Yeah, man.
So you can call us on 876-361-6583, and the WhatsApp line is 876-279-8473. Invite you to call in and join as we are down to our last one.
Oh my, 20 minutes. You know, I have to apologize to our listeners
Yeah.
online because we've been up and down. But as always, you know, we are on Twitch TV, Lola 99. We are on YouTube, on Facebook. For YouTube, it is Best FM-TMC, but also Lola 99. So if you see one go down, it is the reason why we try to be in so many places. Welcome,
it, Taki,
Taki,
from
and
long time.
Earl. I'm so sorry. We've had Earl.
It's been
just
3
slipping
different
from-
pages since
he's
morning.
commented on 3 different pages. Well, I think we've caught every one of them. And thank you for that comment about the Jewish heritage of many of the black people in Jamaica. He's pointing
Jewish
out to
blood
us.
in me,
Our
actually.
Jews, especially the brown-skinned people, but they don't know it. Yeah, remember Moshe?
Yeah,
Drop
Moshe is
that
not
one
brown skin.
on us.
Moshe is wonderfully
Very,
black.
very, very African. So it really don't even the
Yeah, don't
intensity of the pigment hardly makes a difference. But the truth is, Jamaica has for a long time been at the forefront of celebrating this out of many one people, trying to get to that oneness.
And we have a history of Jews in our country in the early parts. From Christopher Columbus, I'm saying. The history records that because they were under attack, they came to us as a
But
place
beyond no, that's talking about the representation of European Jews in our bloodline.
But they are black Jews.
But there are, yes, yeah.
So we understand that in regards to things. But, you know, as we look forward to doing Black History, which we have adopted from another country because they sought to do it.
Well,
The
we borrow
truth
all
i-
kind of bad things.
thing,
This
yeah,
is a good one.
it's a good one to reflect and to speak about where we've come from in terms of the impact of Africa on the rest of the world. They've tried to put it under the ground, try to distort it, but it is coming to the fore in a great and a larger way, because if we see ourselves as one human race, if one part of the race is down, then the whole race is suffering. So we
True.
need to come up,
Yeah.
need to highlight it, and especially in our schools, because if you know where you're coming from, you know, it affects your self-esteem, the way that you see yourself, and that is so important to us. We only have a legacy of slavery, but we have a legacy of being once kings and queens.
You know, I was saying to you that for me, even at a time of ignorance, I never doubted my ability to have a meaningful influence on the world, on my circumstances, on my environment. But there are some persons who, by reason of location or family situation, their self-esteem is not as strong as maybe perhaps mine is. Those persons, I think, more than anyone else, need to have a great understanding of history so that they can see that they come from a place that is worthy.
Greatness.
A place of greatness. But I have to ask this father, I say Father Percival, Pastor Percival, what if you can find a place of greatness in your bloodline? Is there a place of greatness for everybody?
Yes, there is. Because
Explain.
Because for me, and
If you reach
big-
back to God, made in the image of God?
made in the image, made in the image, made in the image,
Don't discount that, is what
made
I say.
in the image
Yeah.
of God.
When all else fails, just know you're made in the image of God, which means there is a bit of divinity and supernatural power in you, and you can find it when you seek it.
Earl always
Earl
show
said,
something
"Minute,
that
who declared February as Black History Month?
the coolest month in North America. And I take Earl to go find her. Earl, is it minus 15 there still? Because Earl sent us something yesterday out of Toronto it was. Yes, Earl said, you see the
Black
snow.
History Month, the coldest month.
Wow. Earl, only
I
you
wonder
alone
which
could have
month-
come up with
I
that.
wonder which month would be better.
Probably July, August.
Or it should be all year.
I
That
have
is what I do.
Juneteenth that happens in August. You remember
So
that?
you know I'm doing a search. Who chose February as black? Is it the blacks? 'Cause it must be the blacks.
No, I don't,
No? Nobody else could
or
tell
it's
us
right
when
after
we
Martin
wanna
Luther
celebrate.
King Jr. birthday, where it's celebrated in January.
Right after the tamarind season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a check, Earl. But it is the coldest month in North America. Did not know that. He says it should be July. You know what? I would vote for July too. It's
Yeah,
my
the-
birth month.
it's a warm place to be. And why February?
Let's see now. Hmm.
So
Let me
that's
see
an
what they're
interesting thing
saying.
that in regards to Woodson, or it was
Wanted to pay tribute to two great American, Abraham Lincoln, and born
Frederick
in February.
Douglass, the liberator. Yeah.
But
Shaka Zulu was demonized, but he was a brilliant military strategist. That is so true, Michael. Shaka Zulu. You've seen that movie,
Yeah.
Shaka Zulu?
I don't think I've seen the movie. Didn't
There was
I
a
tell you
movie,
that
Shaka
time?
Zulu,
I
where
remember.
overcome and beat up them.
When I was in South Africa, oh no, my friend in South Africa, the town where her parents live is the town where Shaka Zulu's that plantation was. And
In
they-
Africa?
Yes.
Not a plantation, it was a plantation.
Yes,
No,
yes,
Shaka
see.
Zulu was a king.
I know, but the
origin of
area
the
that
tribe,
he, that
the
he
tribe, okay.
controlled was a plantation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not a plantation, it was a kingdom.
I'm using the word that she gave me.
A kingdom, man. It was a kingdom.
How did Black
Drake,
History Month
Zulu,
originate?
Woodson.
Woodson's fraternity incorporated with it, blah blah blah. It was initially celebrated in April,
Mm-hmm.
says this website.
Mm-hmm.
It was very popular on campus. And why February, the shortest month of the year? Different assault on February. The week was picked to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, two men who played a prominent role in eliminating slavery.
So they were born in February.
Yeah.
And so they say, you know what happened? Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but
So you see, they colonized Black History Month by recognizing two white American
no man,
presidents.
Frederick Douglass was black.
Okay, one
But
white
that's it,
American
yeah.
president.
And Abraham Lincoln, that's why them split time say we can't do slavery.
Anyway, suffice it to say, that is why Shaka Zulu was demonized, but he was a brilliant military strategist.
It is.
Says,
He was.
yes,
He was. He took on
Yeah.
men with guns and defeated them.
Yeah.
Until the gun power finally sorted its way out. But he was a brilliant military strategist, and so many kings were of African descent. Yeah.
All right. Let us start our goodbye proceedings. We're in the final stages. Thank you all.
Mhm.
And of course, I'm greatly indebted to Miss Katis, who is the main collaborator in presenting a series of shows during the month of February, in which we will celebrate all things powerful about
All things
our
African,
race.
of Negro, yeah.
Yes, and Pastor Percival, in honor of his fallen brother,
Some poems, yeah.
will bring us some of the poetry that come out of the.
That.
This is what now out of your family heirloom box. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it actually.
There was
And
a
thank you
part
to
of
those
UNIA,
online
yeah.
who have persevered with us. I know it's been a rough ride this morning, but you know, your hosts love to be outdoors. So Thursdays we pay for Thursdays. We do pay for Thursdays. But I love to show this little slice of sunshine, and
Especially for Earl.
yeah, yes, to motivate our listeners and to encourage you to come home and visit. And of course, when you come home, make sure you visit us too. What's Earl saying? He says a group of us had lunch with the late King Goodwill Zulu at his palace.
That's why I was saying it wasn't a plantation, it was
Yeah. No, I'm telling you what exists.
What the lady said, yeah.
Right. I'm not seeking to.
Your friend is South African?
South African.
Okay, that's that.
And her mother lives in the township or whatever it is. That.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, Mr. Producer and Mr. Engineer. I know you have done yeoman service this morning. We're sorry that we bring you out on Thursdays to punish you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's part of the process.
All right.
Right,
And
Mr.
back at the studio, Lloyd, thank you so much for the skillful care. All right, we're wrapping up now. And we are looking forward to our weekend. I have a lot of writing to do,
Me too.
various things to complete. But we look forward to being with you again on Monday, God willing. To all of you, have a very good weekend and thank you so much. What is the music that is taking us out? Oh, Lloyd is in charge of that. All right, Lloyd. We thank you very much.
What?
Maybe it is. All right.
One
this
blood,
is the
Lloyd.
Morning
One blood. One
Connection.
blood.
Thank you so much for sharing with us in the week that was.
Interesting week it was.
All right, we're going off air now.